Whoa! Wow. Wow. Imagine chanting USA at a Democrat rally. They'd throw you out on your ass. Oh, man. You know what? What an amazing feeling that is, guys. Thank you so much. It's great to be back here. I haven't been in Pennsylvania since yesterday when I was fishing over on the east side of the state. But it's great to be back. A lot of history here in Pennsylvania. I've been coming to Williamsport a long time as a long-range shooter. So it's good to be back here. Good to see some friends. And it's just exciting to be here. So I have a long history in Pennsylvania. It wasn't just there for the campaign where people show up conveniently for various things, but I spent a lot of my formative years of my life. I grew up sort of in Pottstown, went to school there for about 5 years, then I went to the University of Pennsylvania, so I spent 9 of my years of my life living in Pennsylvania. Now I spend my time up on the border waters up in the Northeast, and it's just great to be here with so many friends. And where's Tom Marino and Barletta and all those guys? Where are they? They've been awesome. There they are. Those guys, well, I think legitimately, number 1 and number 2 in terms of support, right? Within minutes of each other. I'm not sure who came out on top, okay? But within minutes of each other, those guys were real. They were loyal. They were, more importantly, because I think you guys all can appreciate this as Pennsylvanians, they were supporters and they were loyal when it didn't pay to be loyal. You understand the difference? It's a little different when they're supportive when you are the president than when the media and all the geniuses over there are saying, he has 0% chance of winning. It's a little harder then, so those guys have been great. Val from the PA State Party, thank you for all of your support and everything that you're doing. It's going to be amazing. But more importantly, look at what's going on in Pennsylvania right now, boys and girls. No. You're winning for the first time in a long time. It was funny, I was watching TV the other night, and Trevor Noah, not exactly a Trump fan, no. He goes, you know what Trump's actually doing? All of the things he said he was going to do. But what does it say about our political system when that's not the norm? Meaning, we're used to telling you whatever the hell you want to hear. And then we do whatever we want. No accountability, no nothing. They just do it. And so it was a little different when I was at podiums like this around this incredible state in 2016. Because then we didn't have a track record. Right? Then we were just like everyone else. We were just making promises. You've been hearing that for years, right? That's one of the things I saw in Pennsylvania. They're like, man, I don't know. We've been hearing this for a long time, but we haven't seen anyone deliver. But now, we actually have a promises made, promises kept agenda. Wouldn't it be nice if the media and all of those other people had some accountability for those who promise and don't do anything? But my father takes hell every day for doing all of the things that you all elected him to do. Pennsylvania's winning again. Unemployment's down. 125,000 new jobs. Of the 5 million, by the way. You know, Barlotta stole my line. You stole my abracadabra line, Lou. I'm gonna sue your ass for plagiarism, okay? But I heard this, and I heard Biden repeat it yesterday. It was Obama, remember a couple of months ago? Well, remember where the economy started. Yeah, I go, wait a minute, say it again. Because I didn't understand you. Remember where it started? What? Guess what, boys and girls? It didn't start with oppressive taxation, hyper-regulation, destroying our energy sector, and a general sentiment of, quote unquote, you didn't build that. No, because I remember it. My father was out there, hey, why can't we hit 3% GDP? Why can't we do better? Why can't we hit 4? Why can't we even hit 5? Remember this? The New York Times. 1.5%, this is the new normal. Well, we did 3 and change in the first quarter, historically the worst quarter. And we're already doing double what they said they could do. Obama did his, no, Donald, there's no magic wand for that. Well, there is. The abracadabra, it's not rocket science, guys. It's common sense. It's being willing to fight for America for a change. Think about it. Joe Biden's going around, no. This is all because of Obama and our ridiculous policies. There's a reason why on November 9th, 2016, the day after the election, every consumer confidence metric went through the roof. Because they knew Trump was going to keep his word. Trump was going to fight for you guys. Because he wasn't a product of the swamp. There's nothing quite like watching Joe Biden, who's been in D.C. for about 60 years, say, government has failed you. I go, Joe, in all fairness, this is your life's work. It is a failure. I agree with you. He's running around saying, China is not a threat. Guess what, boy? China has been stealing the American dream from all of you, from your kids, from your grandkids for decades. And this clown doesn't think it's a problem? No. You know why? Because his son took $1.5 billion into his hedge fund from the Chinese. I don't know. Serious question. If I, Donald Trump Jr., took $1.5, let alone $1.5 billion from the Chinese, what do you think our friendly people in the media over there in the back would be saying? Their heads would explode in outrage, because everything's outrage. But you know what I'm outraged about? I'm outraged about the Democrats' policies. I'm outraged about them exporting your and my American dream to countries that hate our guts for the sake of PC nonsense. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. We have to fight unfair trade practices. My father's the first guy who'd been willing to do that. Guess what? When you import 100 times what they do from you, you have all the leverage. You just have to be willing to stay in the fight for more than about 2 seconds before you fold. But that's not what happens. That's why we saw the Chinese running ads in Iowa during the midterms. Because guess what they don't want? They don't want Trump. And if they don't want Trump, you want Trump. We want Trump. This country needs Trump if the Chinese don't want him. I want Trump too. And that's why we got to get guys like Fred Keller in office. We need guys that are going to actually fight with us. We need guys that have the guts, there's a better word for it, but there's children in the audience, Starts with a B, ends in an S, okay? We want guys with that. Sir? Yes. You're going to get me in trouble here. I can't say that. But thank you. Yes, you are 100% right. We need guys like that who actually have the guts to fight, who aren't just going to fold when the Democrats call them a bad name. Because think about it. I've done this in college campuses. We're not exactly a friendly place for Trump supporters. You know, what Jesse Smollett would call MAGA country. I've never heard the term actually used other than him. Because you know what you guys all call it? America! But, you know, that one went to hell in a handbasket pretty quickly. And I remember I got so much crap. I was one of the first guys. I went out on social media. They've been censoring us pretty heavily, but it's okay. You guys see through it. I went on social media. I go, wait a second. I was one of the first because, no, the reality, if you're a conservative and you have the guts to say something, there's risks. If you're a liberal, you can say whatever you want. There's no consequence. So I got up. I go, you mean to tell me in downtown Chicago at 2 a.m., two white guys wearing MAGA hats. I go, first and foremost, you wouldn't last 15 seconds before getting shot. I got a lot of hell for that one too, but it's true. I go, on the coldest night of the year, you mean to tell me that two guys carrying around a bottle of bleach and rope, wearing MAGA hats, were waiting at 2 in the morning on the off chance that a really rich actor, what was he making, like 600 grand an episode? Okay? You know, yeah. Empire's now canceled, so I really hope Jesse's not beating himself over that. Oh, I hope he doesn't beat himself up again over that one. That's a shame. But you mean to tell me that this guy's waiting there to attack and act? Yeah, you know what I would have done? At 2 in the morning? You order Seamless. I'm sure he's heard of it. Okay? You order one of the 50,000 apps that delivers food. You don't go to Subway at 2 in the morning on the coldest night of the year at 2 a.m. Okay. But because I'm a terrible, terrible human being, according to them and the Democrats, I said, I don't know. It just seems sort of weird. A couple people agreed with me. They were then branded as terrible people too. But we were right. And now you see what's going on. So while common sense people like you realize 2020, it should be over by now. But it's not. You know why? Because this is not a fair fight. We are not on equal footing. Okay, I live this stuff 24/7. The average guy is seeing 5 minutes of news. So despite all-time low unemployment, despite all-time high stock market highs, for everyone, every demographic, 93% negative coverage. You know, that's what we're dealing with. So it's not a fair fight. The guy that's catching 5 minutes of this, he doesn't know. Trump must be doing a terrible job. You guys get it. But it's not that simple. Oh, Kimberly, you're in trouble. Anyone remember Kimberly? Come here, Kimberly. Wave hi. Get up here. Come on. This was totally choreographed and prepared. Kimberly, want to say hi?
Hello, Pennsylvania! God, we love Pennsylvania, and President Trump loves Pennsylvania. The hardworking men and women that help put him in office. Pennsylvania is Trump country, right?
Thank you, baby. Sorry about that.
You're welcome. When you hang with Trump, it's always by the fly, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you know, hey, you made you speak in front of 10,000 people you've never seen before. What's the problem, right? She's pretty good at this. So that's where we are, guys. This fight for 2020, it's about America. At this point, it's really about, do you want communism or do you want freedom? Because that's what they're pushing at this point. They don't even hide it anymore. Listen, I'm from New York City. I have plenty of liberal friends. I used to be able to have I could put myself in their shoes, and with a straight face, not saying I agreed, but with a straight face, I used to be able to argue their points. I used to be able to say, okay, fine, I can make that argument without laughing my ass off. I can't do it anymore. They've lost their minds. They want to tax you to death. Think about it. We have a very strained educational system, but they just want to give millions and millions of people free education. You can't get that, but we want to give others. Strained healthcare system. You got to pay something. Others, we're just going to give it for free. Non-Americans. Think about what that does to those systems. Think about what that does to your children, to your futures. You know, no different than getting in an airplane. There was a nice little airplane took off. What's the first thing they said before they took off? In the event of an emergency, put your mask on before you help those around you. We have to deal with our issues first. That's what we've been doing. That's what my father's been doing. America first. The fact that that is a little bit controversial right now, or a lot controversial, tells you all you need to know. I watch some of these pundits on TV. You can't say anything about bad people in countries that hate our guts, places that if they could push a button, they'd wipe you off the face of the earth. Huh? They're more supportive of those people than they are of hard-working Americans who are just trying to scrape by, trying to do right by their families. When did that happen, guys? How did that happen? Well, I think it's been going on longer than that, but that certainly helped. No, seriously, because, like I said, I spent all of high school and college in Pennsylvania. One of the things that I saw when I was going around during the primaries, hey, Don, you know, I love what your father's saying, but if my grandfather, if he knew that I was voting for a Republican, he'd be rolling over in his grave. No, I get it. I understand the history of it. I go, it was quick. I just thought on the spot. I was go, really? I get it. I understand the history. Like I said, I grew up in sort of a Rust Belt town because Pottstown wasn't exactly, you know, New York City. I experienced both. I go, okay. What would your grandfather say about today's Democratic Party platform? He goes, oh, I go, welcome to the Republican Party. No, but that's what it was. It was, we do this because historically that's what it was. Whether it was blue collar, union labor, all these things. Now they just got the bosses. You know, they got the bosses. But, you know, I go to those places. Between hunting, fishing, all that stuff that I started here in Pennsylvania. You know, I see competitive shooting. I go to those places. I see those guys. I see all the MAGA stickers on the back of their cars. I'm like, I don't know. Seems like there's a discord between the bosses and the workers. But because they get it. So, you know, you got to sort of break that convention, but that's not easy. Especially when you don't have the media carrying your water, when you don't have all that other support, when the Democrats can say whatever the hell they want, it doesn't matter, they just get a free pass. But if we say something, God forbid, you know, if my father says something is 25% and it's 24.99%, fact check, false. I mean, that's what they do. It's only one way. So guys, the reality is this. In 2016, we made a lot of promises, but we've been delivering, and we need you to help us keep delivering those promises. In 2016, my father said it. He got killed for it. He goes, honestly, what do you have to lose? He did, and he was right. Both parties had really failed us, but especially the Dems, because those policies are nuts, and they're only getting crazier, right? But now you actually have a lot to lose. I mean, imagine giving all the gains that we've made back, starting it over, shipping those jobs abroad. Think about it. You got a lot to lose. It's communism versus freedom. We're Americans. I don't think we're into that other crap. But we got to fight for it because, again, we're not on a level playing field. It's not a fair battleground. Okay, we're up against a lot, but with guys like you, real hard-working people, we can do it, but we need your help to get that message out. We need your guys to get Fred in office. We need you guys to show up and bring your friends and register them for 2020 and get them out. Remember, guys, this is not your grandfather's Democratic Party anymore. They have lost their way and they have lost their minds. True story. Now, think about it. Think about it. For the last few months, I've been hearing about the Green New Deal. No, it's great. It's great. For the mere price of $93 trillion, $93 trillion, right? You too can eliminate farting cows. Right? You can get rid of farting cows and come up with some sort of magical way to get you to Hawaii that doesn't involve airplanes. But what's really scary, hey guys, hey, we need a medic over there. Need a medic? Let's deal with that first. Guys, is someone doing that? Guys, can we get a medic in there? Make a hole, please. Let them get through. Hey guys over there, spread out, make some room so those guys can get through, okay? Hey, let's make sure we get that right before I can rant for hours. EMS is there and law enforcement. Thank you guys. How great is our law enforcement and our first responders? Another group of people the Democrats not exactly in favor of, but minor details. All right, so we okay over there? They on it? All right, just make sure to give them some room, guys, okay? Oh boy. Thank you guys. Now, listen, that means a lot to me, but hey, let's worry about 2020 first, and then we'll talk about the other stuff later, okay? But okay, $93 trillion farting cows, that's where I was, okay? So, what's scarier about that is, okay, we have a national debt of about $20 trillion. Obama doubled it from 10, it's now about 20, okay? That, in their minds, is the end of the world. Understandably, it's a lot of money. But we're going to blow $93 trillion in the next 10 years to do it? So think about how stupid that is. I mean, that shows you the basic lack of economic sense, okay? The U.S. government brings in about $6 trillion a year, okay? So that is 15 times what the U.S. government brings in. So if the U.S. did nothing other than fund the deal for 15 years, no military, no anything, we could pay for this stupid plan. Think about it. But what's scarier is it's not, well, the scariest part was actually if you don't want to work, you don't have to work. Oh, that's a wonderful, wonderful incentive model. It's a great idea. But what's really scary was every leading Democratic contender at the time came out and signed on to the bill, right? They said, oh, this is great. They took the lead from a freshman congresswoman who in January didn't know the 3 branches of government. Now, hey, a lot of Americans probably don't know the 3 branches of government. The difference is they're not Congress people. All right? So they didn't know, but God forbid you take on AOC. That'd be terrible. That'd be a huge mistake. So they're willing to fold and take on debt like you wouldn't believe. Debt that you guys are all paying for because it's a marketing campaign and that's it. It's all BS. It's like watching them last week. They're talking to the bankers. Well, what are you going to do about the student loan crisis? Well, ma'am, the United States government owns about 95% of the debt. We haven't had that in a decade. Oh. So this is a person making trillion-dollar decisions They're up there grandstanding in front of Congress for the TV soundbite. They don't even know what the hell they're doing. You know, they don't have a fundamental understanding of how it works. They're just there for the attention. That's scary, guys. I'm not willing to take this risk. That's why I want Donald Trump in office, because you know the difference between Donald Trump and all of them? You know the difference? He didn't need this job. It's that simple, guys. He could have sat there. He could have gone to one of his incredible hotels or one of his golf courses, flown around on a big plane, almost as big as Air Force One, not quite, but it's close. He could have done that forever. He didn't need this headache. You think he didn't know that this would be brutal? Thank you. He's doing this for you, not for him. He knew damn well what was going on. He called it to me on the elevator about 3 years ago. June 15th, 2016. We get on that elevator before he went down the escalator. He just looked at me and goes, "Now we find out who our real friends are." Truer words have never been spoken. I've seen it myself. I have the guys, "Hey, Don, you're doing a great job." Then I look at their Facebook page when they're trying to be woke. "Oh, it's so terrible." I'm like, you know, you can disagree with me politically, but you can't have it both ways. Pick a pony. So that's the best part. The best part about politics is it's been so cathartic. You can get rid of all the pretend friends. You know, that dinner you have once a year that you don't really want to have, that you do sort of out of obligation because you knew the person once in college? Gone. It's been awesome. That part's been great. I had to deal with a lot of other BS, but that part was great. So, guys, look, we need another medic. Am I that good or that bad? All right, let's deal with that one. It's a little warm here, guys, sorry. Hey, guys, over here. About 2 o'clock, stage right. That's forward. Guys, give them a little bit of space. State troopers are there. Thank you. I stole her. I'm not stupid. Yeah? So again, guys, it's not just about adding 5 million new jobs, which again, was unheard of under the prior administration, also led by Joe Biden, or Bernie, Communist Sanders. Those were all pipe dreams, but think about the foreign policy wins. Look at what we did. Let's take Israel. For 25 years, the United States has been saying that the rightful capital of Israel is in Jerusalem. This is something that passed in the United States Senate, 99-0. Someone was sick that day. 99-0 is not what we'd call controversial. That's what we call pretty damn bipartisan, right? Bush, Clinton, other Bush, Obama, they all promised that they would do it, but none of them did. Remember when my father said, "We're actually going to do it"? The media, "Oh my God." You guys remember this. It wasn't millions, but it was billions with a B. Billions of people were going to die if we did this. I go, man. If something that passed the United States Senate 99-0 could result in billions of people dying, we got bigger problems, guys. Then it was going to be the start of World War III. Remember that one? Start of World War III. I said, man, also big news, if true. Usually not true. What happened? No, something happened. 2 people threw rocks for about 7.3 seconds. That was it. So it wasn't exactly nothing, but it was pretty damn close. But you know what was more important? The rest of the world was watching. When we keep our word, when we do the right thing. Thank you, sir. It's that simple. America's got its guts back. Also a better word for it. We've got our resolve back. The world is watching. We end this stupid Iran deal where we give. Think about this. Think of the brain trust that decided it would be a wonderful idea to give the world's leading state sponsor of terror $150 billion in cash. And I don't mean that figuratively like a check. They actually sent pallets of cash. Think about that as a policy. Gone. How about North Korea? I've got to listen for the last 40 years of my life and for probably 20 years before that. Well, this is the North Korea policy and this is what we're doing. And then for the last 2 years, and Donald Trump is doing it all wrong. I know he's doing it wrong because I've been dealing with the issue for the U.S. government for 40 years. It is my life's work. I go, wait a second. I'm usually watching this with, my daughter on TV, Sunday shows on the weekends, something like that. I go, wait a minute. It's your life's work. You've been doing it for 40 years. You've never even met with the other guy. What do you mean? My 4-year-old daughter, Chloe, some of you may know her from Instagram. She is as accomplished as you are in dealing with North Korea. Now, no, I'm going somewhere with this because unlike some of these people you see on social media today, my 3-year-old spoke to me this morning about the threat of nuclear proliferation on the Korean Peninsula. I'm calling bullshit. All right? My daughter is 4. She'll be 5 next week. She's not one of these pretend woke social justice warrior 4-year-olds. She's a 4-year-old. She didn't say any of that. When I say that to her, she has no idea what the hell I'm talking about. But it's still right. These guys have failed miserably. So we're actually getting some stuff done. We're actually having a dialogue. So it's been great. I mean, we've had a great 2 years and we've had a great first quarter. I mean, the numbers economically were awesome, but more importantly, I got to have some great sort of personal revenge when Michael Avenatti. Oh, what a loser. This guy was awesome. I got to listen to him talk and talk and talk. But it's the old standby. When someone's saying all these things that you're doing, it's usually them doing it. It's the sort of Democratic playbook. Man, I was so excited when that happened because I was sitting there thinking, I go, for this week and this week only, though I may extend it for a few more weeks, MAGA does not stand for Make America Great Again. It stands for Michael Avenatti got arrested. No, it's true. We may have to hold that on for a while or do a little dual branding kind of thing. But what was amazing is watching this clown out there talking for months. Remember CNN? I'm going to take you seriously as a candidate. I go, why? As far as I'm concerned, the only thing he's accomplished, and it is rather impressive, but the only thing that he accomplished in life was he managed to get simultaneously indicted on 2 different coasts for 2 different crimes. That's impressive. I'm not saying you should try to mimic it, but it's impressive in a criminal kind of way. So that was great. That was fun. More importantly, Mueller. Oh, you guys remember Mueller? Remember? I remember about 3 weeks ago when Mueller was the second coming of Christ for the Democrats. Not that they believe in Christ, but you understand what I mean. Because you do. He was going to be the Savior. He was going to be the Messiah. Then, no collusion, no obstruction. And you could see, you knew it was coming. Because about 2 weeks before the report dropped, you started seeing the Democrats. Because the 19 leftist Hillary Clinton supporting lawyers on the Mueller team, all those clowns, they started leaking to their friends in the Democratic Party saying, guys, I know you've been running on this for 2 years, I know it's too big to fail, but we got a problem. There's nothing. Because about 2 weeks before the report started, you started seeing the talking points change, right? Then it started going to, well, it was obstruction. Guys, got some bad news. That failed too. That failed too. But that's the reality. It was always nonsense. But don't kid yourself. It achieved a lot of what they wanted. Okay? They got to hold that over his head during midterms. They got to get people to actually think, yeah, he left the billionaire lifestyle to do it for Russia. That was like the Russians made it windy so a Trump with Trump hair can have a really terrible hair day on stage. I mean, but you know, they bought it hook, line, and sinker. There didn't have to be any truth to it because no one in the media is going to hold them accountable. We've discussed this already. So they did that, and man, they still can't let it go. They still can't let it go. God knows I got to deal with that one myself, despite 30 hours of testimony, despite being cleared by Mueller and myself. And funny thing is, so I've done, 25, 30 hours of testimony in front of multiple committees, Senate, Congress. Mueller report cites my congressional testimony. They cite my Senate testimony. Think about it. They cite my stupid Twitter account. They've looked at it all, and we're clear. But they still want to send you in there to go back and 2 years later answer questions about something because Michael Cohen, another real gem, who's now in jail for lying to that same committee, who's been brought up in front of the DOJ for lying in public testimony a few weeks ago, because he said this. Hey guys, Trump derangement syndrome is real. This is the nonsense that we deal with on a daily basis. The hoax, which was the largest ever perpetrated on the American people, has collapsed. But it's too big to fail. They went all in. They lied to you guys. Time and time. I'm still waiting for Adam Schiff to show all that evidence that he's seen. I mean, that genius, I've seen lots of, I don't know. You would think that if you're the head of the Intelligence Committee, I'll put that in quotes, but you'd think that if you're the head of this, despite the fact that he fell for some Ukrainian shock jocks or something pretending to be Russians, he's a brilliant man, guys. He's a brilliant man. But despite doing that, he's going to keep the hoax alive. He's seen evidence that Mueller hasn't seen. I don't know, you'd think he'd be obligated to turn it over. Nope. He's above and beyond reproach. He is a liar. But again, who's going to hold him accountable? No one. Oh, I love that answer. That's so much better than my answer. Who said that? Who's going to hold him accountable? You are. Pennsylvania is going to hold him accountable. So I just want to thank you guys so much for everything. Well, thank you. No, I mean it. Listen, the win, the Mueller report, all of that nonsense, it wasn't just a win for me because I was in this thing, this hoax. It wasn't just, it was a win for all of you guys. Because you know why? You never faltered. You never doubted. You never gave up, and you will never give up. That's why we did this. That's why my father took this on. He did it for you, for your grandkids, for the American dream. He did it for freedom. He did it. He did it, not because he had to, but because he wanted to. And you know what? Like so many of our great forefathers, sometimes when you see it all going to hell, you just have to step up. You just have to get in the game. You can't sit on the sidelines. And that's the kind of guy he is. You've been seeing him since the 80s talking about this. Bad trade deals. Eventually you can't just throw stones. You got to get in the game. You got to fight. And that's what he's doing. And that's why we're here. And that's why this kind of support from so many great Americans just means so much to us. This makes all the crap worth it. So I just want to thank you guys on behalf of him, on behalf of our family, on behalf of everyone in America who believes in America, who believes in the American dream. You guys are the best. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Pennsylvania. Thank you.
And that right there was Donald Trump Jr., of course.